Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the walks. Here it is, floodlit and slightly empty. The pitch actually looks quite nice close up. I know it looked a bit brown in places, but I think they were missing a part on the old sprinklers or something or other. So, and water's in slightly scarcer supply than maybe it would be if it wasn't 36 degrees. Anyway, I'm conscious of not standing on the pitch and getting told off by the Kings Lynn groundsman. But yeah, Norwich have completed their third pre-season friendly of the summer. They have beaten Kings Lynn Town 2-0, both goals coming in the first half. The first was a complete gift, really, from the Kings Lynn backline, and Teemu Pukki rolled it into an empty net. It was quite late in the first half. The second one was a better move. From what I can remember, Tzolis broke down the left, cut the ball back, and there was Christos Tzolis to side for a confident finish home to make it 2-0. Pukki and Jordan Hugill both hit the bar in the second half. But I have to say, in truth, as far as pre-season friendlies go, I would not read anything into any of it. The formation seemed relatively fluid. It was interesting speaking to Dean Smith about the principles that he clearly wants the team to put into their play with and without the ball next season. But it would just be foolhardy to watch that and try and extrapolate what that would mean when Norwich come up against championship opposition. One thing I am slightly conscious of at the moment is that, Norwich have played two Norfolk non-league teams and then Jan Regensburg, I still don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, I should really look and check, and who are a Bundesliga 2 team, maybe a bit ahead of it, but I think they clearly do need the test against Marseille on Saturday in France, because I think there needs to be an upping in terms of intensity. They will then play Cambridge United this time next week at the Abbey, where hopefully they don't get kicked off the park or pick up any injuries. And again, Cambridge will be a bit further along probably in their start time, and clearly it's League 1 to Championship, so again, probably a reasonable test, but it will be conscious then of how things step up from there, because after that it's 2 games in Scotland. So, and before you know it, the season will have begun, and we will be up and away with all the competitive stuff. So that is how pre-season looks. And there's also the 23s and the 18s who are playing pre-season friendlies. Norwich are playing MK Dons, I think, on Friday night, at which point Adam Eder will get his first run out, so that will be good. Norwich had a lot of players here, and as I said, no one particularly did anything noteworthy, if I'm brutally honest. But it was great to see Andrew Omobamidele back. He played the first 45 minutes. And Christos Tzolis looked pretty lively, certainly in the first half. He was the one who got the majority of the chances, probably, in fairness, and did what he could. He'll be an interesting one to see how his pre-season and start to the season pans out, because Dean Smith was asked about it, and I'm still not convinced we'll be seeing Christos here next, during the season, if I'm honest. But we will see. Probably of more interest. Well, first point, Teemu Pukki went off straight away after taking a pretty heavy contact injury. He was sort of rubbing his thigh. He wondered if it was something on his knee, but he walked off the pitch, was substituted straight afterwards. I then saw him walking off the pitch when the game had finished, and he looked okay, and Dean Smith said he's fine, it was contact injury, he'll be okay. Dean Smith isn't always the most open about injuries, but I take his word for that, and I saw Teemu walk off with my own eyes with no supportive protective plastic, so all being well, that will be fine. There were quite a few people missing today though. Bali Mumba wasn't here. He is going to be joining Plymouth on loan for the season, which I think we've all known has been happening for some time, and I certainly tweeted about it a few days ago. No Angus Gunn, which was a precautionary absence. He jarred his knee. No Sam Byron, which was also precautionary. Pierre Lees-Melou rocked his ankle. He didn't roll it. And again, a couple of days and he should be back. So they were the minor absentees. We then have Kieran Dowell, who actually had a hernia operation. So he will now be missing, but should be back for the Scotland game, so that's not too bad. So it obviously wasn't too much of a hernia up, so that's good news, of course. We then have, there's Sam McCallum's milkshake down there. There we go. It looks very tasty. I could do one of those now. Who else? So yeah, that's Kieran. So that's not too bad. Isaac Hayden, we obviously haven't seen him at any point during pre-season so far, but he had swelling on his knee when he started training. Dean Smith said today he has actually had that knee flushed out. I guess the fluid drained. He saw a specialist. The consultant, who presumably is a specialist, was happy with how that went, but it does mean that he is out for until the early stages of the season, which is deliberately vague. That could be the first 5 games, could be the first 10 games. Obviously, it's not ideal because you've got a new signing who is going to not have had any pre-season and also missing the start of the season in the opening game. So not ideal, obviously. And then we have Gabriel Sara. I asked Dean Smith about him. It was an incredibly flat and straight bat. He played to the question. They are interested in good players. He does believe he is a good player, but there are lots of them. We'll see how that pans out. There's lots of work, and we'll all be doing on that one over the coming days, of course. I think we're covered off. Love pre-season. I will not be in France for the game against Marseille, but I'm sure there'll be a way of following it when it's on, as was the case at the weekend. And then I'll be at Cambridge and the Abbey next week, which I'm already looking forward to. In the meantime, look after yourselves, take care, check in at the Athletic because there's loads of stuff there, especially with the Women's Euros going on, loads of amazing content and some Norwich stuff up there, of course, too. But other than that, I'm signing off from the Hawks for another season, which is lovely. Good luck to them for the rest of the season, and I will see you next week. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, and goodbye.